level in the series and the team that they played this afternoon. They were terrific. I didn't think we played bad to start the ball game, but that second quarter there, it was like the roof fell in on us. I wasn't happy with the way our players exited the game. Omar and Andrew's part, it was unnecessary. But I know they were frustrated. Berea was one of the guys that did really frustrate us too. Other than that, you know, the Lakers will have to go back and put it back together again to, you know, have a team that comes back and challenges next year.
Questions? Are you stunned that like 6 days ago the Lakers were talked about as the favorite to win the West, and here you're sitting now?
No, I'm not.
Why not?
I think I told you guys all along that Dallas is a very good team. We have the same record they had during the season. And, you know, they played better as a team than we did.
You had said a couple of times during the season that, or at least expressed some doubt about your own team. And were you kind of worried in the back of your mind after New Orleans gave you such a hassle in the first round that this might happen?
Well, you know, there's a way we could play that we could win ball games. We had to play a style that was refined and a pace that was ours. We were able to do that for 3.5 quarters, both the first and the third games in the series. But we weren't able to finish them off. And, you know, that's the difference. Perhaps Dallas is a little deeper team, a little more talented off the bench than we were. And it came to bear during the course of this class.
Have you coached your final game? If so, what are the emotions of the moment?
Feels really good to be ending the season, to be honest with you. I came back this last year with some trepidation. Kobe's knee was an issue, and obviously our team was older. The thrill of trying to chase a three-peat is always an exciting thing. But yes, I knew it was a big challenge for this team to three-peat. We've gone to the finals, and to go back twice and win it after losing 08 puts a lot of strain on a basketball club. From all angles, personalities, spiritually, physically, emotionally. Getting charged up for game after game and assault after assault when you go in and play a team. So, you know, it was a challenge, a challenge bigger than we could meet this year.
Did you accept the notion that this was your last game?
Was this your final game?
I haven't answered that, have I? And you're not going to force me to answer that. So. But yes, this is, you know, all my hopes and aspirations are this is the final game that, you know, I'll coach. And, you know, this has been a wonderful run. You know, I go out with a sour note after being fined $35,000 this morning by the league, so that's not fun. You know, having feeling like I've been chased down the freeway by them. As Richard Nixon says, you won't be able to kick this guy around anymore.
Phil, I know you're not a sentimental guy, but what would you tell the team in the locker room just now?
We're disappointed the way we finished the game. You know, we wanted to have a big game. I didn't like the way Andrew and Lamar finished it, like I mentioned just now. We ran into a buzzsaw today. Sometimes, you know, you can't get a win. You'd like to have an opportunity to challenge, but we didn't.
You were trying all the timeouts and everything else in that first half. As this game got away from you and you're sitting there realizing it's your last game, what's going through your head?
Well, you know, we had 9 stops in succession, I think, in the beginning of the second half. And that's what I asked the club to do. Come on out and get some stops. You know, make them have to think about scoring, and let's get ourselves going offensively. You know, we didn't get that other part going. We got our defense going a little bit, and our starters, you know, proved who they were. But we just couldn't get scoring. That's when I knew that it was going to be a difficult challenge to finish that game. Excuse me?
Would you dispute any assertion that you guys quit out there in any way, shape, or form, given the magnitude of the game for them and for you?
Well, there's a couple, I felt there's a couple players that felt daunted by the energy in the game. It just, their game was depressed. I don't know if they were personally, but, I really felt that there was a couple players that just didn't step into the performance that I'd like to see them step into.
Bill, did you comment on the coaching job Rick Carlisle did?
Rick did a great job out there coaching. The little zone was effective today. It wasn't effective most of the games, but today it was effective in the second quarter. He used his players, Stoico and Terry, and Maria effectively off the bench. Their defense was capable of our shutting our big guys down in the paint, although last game we kind of smothered them in the paint, but today we couldn't get it done.
So the last time when you lost to the Celtics, with most of the same lobster came back and was able to win 2 championships. In this group, a little bit older now, simply being recharged and maybe re-energized be enough, or do you think there need to be major changes to that?
Well, that's not my decision to make. That's Dr. Buss's, and ultimately with Mitch Kupchak, they'll put it together. But it's a great franchise, and we all know that they always come back and get themselves back in the race. So the Lakers are going to survive and do well.
Do you already feel like the second person seems already a little bit of a disassociation, even though he's the second person?
Well, my companion and sweetheart is running the organization from the business end, so I know I'll be involved somewhere along that line.
So there's still a we to be uttered?
Yes.
Bill, are you glad you came back this year? I mean, I know you had to be almost talked into it. You happy you went through it?
Yes, I am. As much as we struggled at certain times during the year, there was a real bond that was with these guys that was terrific. And they worked real hard. They tried to do their best.
It almost seemed like it was you had to try. Was that if you had this in front of you, you had to try?
Yeah, it was a challenge that would have been unfortunate if I wouldn't have taken it up.
Phil, do you think ultimately it matters to the team how they lost, only that they lost?
Yes, I agree with you on that.
And what kind of creates that?
The score is immaterial. The games in 1 and 3 were the ones that hurt. Surface and come back in game number 4. It's going to be too big a job for this team this year at this time.
It's a surprising comment you made. 2-time defending champs. Some players were daunting by the atmosphere tonight, or whatever the word you used.
Depressed, I did say.
Depressed. Why is that? If you're 2-time defending champs, this would be the one group you wouldn't think would get at it.
And I'll ask these guys in a team meeting when they have our team meetings why the performances were the level they were.
You don't right now have that answer?
I could speculate.
Go ahead.
I won't. That's not. You can do that. That's
Okay.
You can opine and do that yourself.
Phil, in a tongue-in-cheek sort of way, Rick Carlisle said that he respects the fact that you want to retire for a couple of years, but after meditating and smoking peyote in Montana, that you'll come back. Do you have a response to that?
Well, first of all, you don't smoke peyote. What my trainer who's been with me for a number of years, Chip Schaefer, sent me a brief webpage about Casey Stengel when he lost at 70. The Yankees lost in Pittsburgh in a dramatic 7-game series, and he said he was too old to coach anymore. He said, "I'm sorry, I was 70. I'll never do it again." I thought it was kind of clever and humorous in its own way. But there's a point where you feel like there's a group of young people that are coming in this direction, young coaches that are coming up that they deserve their chance, and I've had a great opportunity in a 20-year run with coaching teams.
So you talked about the bond that the team had this year. What will you miss about the locker room or the experience of NBA coaching?
Well, mostly it's about the staff and coordination between them, and it usually takes place on the practice court. How guys work and how the coaching staff works together and how the players support each other to play.
Out of your 5 championships, which one did you see which one?
The Lakers.
The Lakers, yeah.
The Lakers. I suppose rebuilding the team and coming back in 2009 to win a championship had to be a great feeling for us to have done it early in the decade and come back late and rebuild that team and come back and win championship.
But champ, being a Hall of Famer like the legendary Barney Mighty Mike Cedrin and having more rings than Douglas Fairbanks, even has Oscars, you have to ultimately take a lot of pride in knowing that you and your Cajun career were nothing but the bee's knees.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.